what's up? It's Joe ready for Mitty's Rise. We're back here at Clearwater Toyota, and guess what? I still have that talk of the town that's going on nonstop because of all the changes. What am I talking about? I'm talking about this vehicle right here. This is a redesigned 2025 Toyota 4Runner. This particular one is the TRD Off-Road. But before we get into this mid-size body-on-frame SUV, let's talk about what's going on here. So when people are looking at SUVs, technically a lot of the SUVs they're looking at are what are known as CUVs, a crossover utility vehicle, and a lot of it has to do with that modular frame. The 4Runner has always been a true SUV, and the reason why is because of that steel box frame. Now, for 2025, they went through and redesigned the whole 4Runner, and still the big argument is, why did they get rid of the V6? Well, obviously, what Toyota would tell you has a lot to do with overall MPGs, emissions, and drivability. Now, one thing is for certain, the 4Runner still has that rugged off-road capability, and you could go spend $67,000 plus and get a TRD Pro off-road. But what I want to find out is this the better way to go if you want that extra off-road capability, but you also want a 4Runner? Let's go ahead, let's dive into this supersonic red, one of my favorite Toyota colors, supersonic red 4Runner, and find out. Right off the bat, I'm loving the actual look. I feel like it still keeps the attitude of the 4Runner, but they definitely modernized it in many ways. Starting off with the headlight housing. The older generation had such a large headlight housing because that is what the style was. Now we got a little bit smaller LED headlights, LED daytime running lamps, but the bad news is you still have a Thomas Edison light bulb, an old-fashioned light bulb in there. To me, that's a zonk on a 2025 model year vehicle. Now, when you go TRD Off-Road, you're getting those extra wide fender flares in flat black with the functional corner air curtain. What I like about this better than the Pro is that the Pro, the fender flares are gloss black. These are definitely going to take a better beating over time compared to those gloss black ones. Now, as we kind of work our way in, you are going to get LED fog lamps. And then down below, you do have an air dam, but don't worry, don't get upset. That is removable. And I highly recommend, if you're actually going to do any type of off-roading, you want to remove that. Now, when you remove it, it gives you 9.1 inches of ground clearance, because the TRD Off-Road, compared to your standard 4Runner, sits on Bilstein shock absorbers all four corners, and they have remote reservoirs. So that's going to give you that better rebound and compression dampening of all four corners, and having that extra ground clearance is also going to help when you're going off-roading. Now, as we come across that front grille, flat black, I like the way they hollow out. It's almost like a Flow Toyota badge. You know how back in 2014, Chevrolet on the Z28 Camaro had the Flow tie? There's your Flow tie, sort of. It's the Flow T, the floaty. There you go. I'm gonna actually trademark that and then sell it to Toyota and make millions. Now, working our way down, you do get a little bit of a reminder that this could have a forward-facing camera, but this trim does not. Looks like a zit, almost looks like a button, and then it does something. But you do have fully functional mid-grille area, flat black, and then, like I said, that air dam comes right off, really cleans up the look and gives you the true 9.1 inches of ground clearance. But let me know what you think about the face of the 4Runner. I still think it looks bold, and it definitely looks aggressive. Now, as we rise up, love the nice indentations that they put on both sides of the hood. And then, of course, that Toyota fit and finish. This is where it really shows. I mean, look at that. It's like the Egyptians built this 4Runner. Now, when we come around the bend, what are we working with? Wheel and tire setup. So you're going to get these TRD specific wheels on the off-road trim. TRD stands for Toyota Racing Development. Machine aluminum outer portion with the flat black. Looks fantastic. We got 33-inch tires wrapped around those wheels. And if you're wondering, well, Joe, what is the actual wheel size? This is an 18-inch wheel. So 18-inch wheel with the 33-inch tires. Tires are going to be 265 on the width and a 70 series sidewall. And of course, plenty of room for that wheel travel. Now, another thing that's nice about the TRD Off-Road is they reshaped the front of the vehicle and the rear of the vehicle to give you more approach and departure angle when you are off-roading compared to, say, an SR5 trim or a Sport. But let me know what you think about the wheels with this particular one. I think it looks great with the supersonic red. Now, coming down the side, you do get flat black on the mirror caps, just like on the fender flares. Flat black on the door handles. And then we have stationary running boards. Nice, good size. It's got some nice grip to it so you can get in and out. Gotta have the raised roof rail. That allows you to get the Toyota accessory crossbars. You get your cargo basket up there. You could put cases of Twinkies up top. Actually, you could put Twinkie the Kid up top in a cargo basket. Steven did that once when he took a trip over to Yosemite. Now, coming down the side of the vehicle, I still love the way they do the TRD Off-Road badging. That's been a tradition for years. Even the way they shaped the quarter glass, they made it look like the previous model years, but with a modern twist. And then as we swing it around, Steven's gonna show off those nice bulges for the fender flares. Really like the way they did the styling. Just like on the Tacoma, it looks great. Now you do have LED taillights. Love the supersonic red color match spoiler. Wiper is tucked out of the way, nice and clean. The glass raises and lowers, old school 4Runner. Even the way they did this midsection here definitely reminds me of previous model years with the Toyota name embossed. 4Runner in the black, they spell it out for you. And then as we work our way down, you do have your full tow capability, and they get the spare up as high as they can to give you a better departure angle. But why don't we go ahead, let's pop the hood and talk about the change for this 2025 4Runner. All right, guys, time to get underneath the hood. You do have a prop rod. I am gonna zonk that. Would be nice to have some hood struts, but underneath the hood, boy, oh boy, is that a modern mess. This is exactly why my father retired from being an auto mechanic and owning a mechanic shop, is because of these modern engines. Tubes, wires, hoses, but it is an inline 4. No more V6. Now, the previous model year had an inline 4 as well, but this one is turbocharged power. So what do we have going on here? We have a 2.4 liter turbocharged inline 4, 278 horsepower, 317 pound-feet of torque. It is bolted to an 8-speed automatic. You got a 2-speed transfer case, 4x4, of course. 0 to 60, you hear those sirens? Those are the people that are having heart attacks that the V6 is gone. They're getting rushed to the hospital right now. Hopefully, they can save their lives. But 0 to 60 in 7.8 seconds, quarter mile 15.9 at 90 miles an hour. MPGs, you are going to get better MPGs than the previous gen. 19 in the city, 25 on the highway. You could tow more, up 1,000 pounds, 6,000 pounds worth of towing. And the vehicle weighs 4,850 pounds. And then brake rotor size, if you really like numbers, you got over 13 inches, all 4 corners on this 4Runner. But why don't we go ahead, let's fire it up and see it roll. Hi guys, we're inside this 2025 Toyota 4Runner TRD Off-Road. I know you're saying to yourself, well, Joe, I'm ready to pull the trigger. I want a new SUV. I've been driving around my 4Runner that I've had for 18 years. I actually had my child was born in my 4Runner. I actually conceived my child in the 4Runner. It means a lot to me, but I'm ready to move on. How much is this one? MSRP for this particular one is $52,000. You might have to sell that kid that you had. But let's see what you get when you go 4Runner TRD Off-Road. To the door panels. Now, for a lot of people doing the real deal off-roading, you'll probably like this. It's all black material. It is hard plastic up top, which is not my favorite, but it is, from what I hear, easy to keep clean. You do have that TRD badge there on the gunmetal gray. You have your official 7-Eleven hot dog holder. Get 4 hot diggity dogs in there with extra relish and sauerkraut. And then down below, you can get your 3 bottles of Surge and really have a party. Now, going from the door panel to the dash, up top is where you got your Baker's Dozen for Twinkies. And then everything, that flat black hard plastic. I do like the metallic silver. You have an oh crap handle for your passenger, which is nice. And then you get the standard 8-inch infotainment system. It's plenty of infotainment system. Now, you can option and go bigger with the 14-inch, but you're still gonna have all the same multimedia software. You can set up the different driver profiles. You got your Sirius XM, all those different things. Of course, we gotta put on 80s on 8. That's how we roll. That's how we roll, thank you. That's how we roll here on Rady's Rides. TRD button in bright red, you can't miss that. Temperature gauge, blower fan with a little 4Runner for your graphic for the circulate, I don't know why I can't speak. Recirculation of the air conditioning. And then you have your 3 stages of heated seats, some nice toggle switches, wireless charging, a place for 4 Snickers, USB-Cs and a 12-volt, TRD shifter for the 8-speed automatic. You have your 4x4 controls, twist and turn will put you in the different drive modes, crawl control. This is a real deal off-roader. You can lock the rear diff, 2 cup holders, and then we got the old-fashioned key fob. Not my favorite. I'm going to have to zonk that. Rubber on the armrest. It will be easy to keep clean, and it won't turn yellow from your sweaty pits. Lift it up. You could probably put in there, I would say, 5 Georgia peaches. If you're ever in Georgia and you're driving on a road trip, you got to stop at the peach stands. Get some sweet peaches. They're amazing. Get yourself some almonds. And then there's something I want you to do while you're in Georgia. There's actually 2 things. You got to go see the world's largest monument to the peanut. It's there in Georgia. And you have to go see the Titan nuclear missile. Believe it or not, on 75, there is a decommissioned Titan nuclear missile just standing there in a gas station parking lot. It's crazy. What's crazy too is you get these 2-tone seats. I do like the design. They are cloth, but Toyota does very durable cloth. Manual controls for the passenger, manual controls for the driver. Don't even ask me about a sunroof, not in this particular one, but I do like the way you have a black headliner. But why don't you get your butt over here behind the wheel? I want to show you what's going on in this TRD Off-Road. All right, guys, business time behind the wheel. There's those manual seat controls. Now, the interesting thing is you have the manual seat controls, but you do have a power lower lumbar, which actually feels really good. I'm 6 feet tall, plenty of room in this new 4Runner, and then the steering wheel. Leather wrapped, perforated and smooth, flat black on the switchgear. It is a manual tilting and telescoping wheel, and you do get the 12.3-inch digital gauge cluster. Love the way you could actually scroll and show different information in the center. Let me get rid of these warnings. And then there's tons of information that you could show in the gauges, which is kind of cool. Plus, you have your different modes. And they keep it simple: sport, normal, and eco. That's all you need. But why don't we go ahead, let's get in the back seat and see if your passengers are gonna find everything that they need in this new 4Runner. All right, guys, back seat time. And one thing for certain is because this is a 2-row, your rear seat passengers are gonna have lots of headroom, lots of leg room. I do like the pattern, that 2-tone pattern on the seats. Large pockets, you could put easily, I would say, 12 Cheeros in there. And then you have your rear AC, 2 USB-Cs, and a home power source. Seats do recline. They actually recline quite a bit. They don't slide. So just something to know. And I like the way they have the oh crap handles for your passengers in the back seat. But speaking of the back, let's get in that cargo area because I want to take you for a spin in this 4Runner. All right, guys, time to get in that cargo area. Now, the TRD Off-Road, you got to use a little bit of muscle Steven is very familiar with that because he has so many muscles, but use a little bit of muscle. There is no electric assist, but once you're in like Flynn. What do you got cargo wise? Because this isn't a 3-row, thank God, you're looking at 48.4 cubic feet of space. Fold the seat down, fold the back seat down, which is a 60-40 split, you're looking at a little over 90 cubic feet of space. Now I do like the way they keep the 3rd row, because you can get a lower trim with a 3rd row. I like the way they have these areas because you could put all sorts of snacks, granola bars, maybe you have a couple dogs, you could keep their treats back here, some food bowls for them, some water. Got to take care of your dog, you know. It's like, dog it should be your family member, right? It shouldn't just be something that you have to say you have that you just leave in the backyard all day. If you're gonna do that, I'll just get you a stuffed animal dog and you can leave that in the backyard. But I know Subaru's about dogs, but this 4Runner is about dogs as well. And I like the way that everything is this nice flat black material, because we all know when your kids are dragging their crap out of the back, they're not gonna pick it up. They're just gonna drag it in all their sports equipment. Maybe they're in a band. They're just gonna scratch the hell out of everything if it was all painted. So this will take a better beating. But now it's that time. If you're ready, I'm ready. Let's go fire up this 4-banger turbo of a 4Runner and see how it drives. All right, guys, we are inside this 2025 Toyota 4Runner, this being the TRD Off-Road. We're leaving Clearwater Toyota, and right away, I love the comfort of the interior. They definitely upgraded the interior over the previous generation. And going with the I-Force engine, that 2.4 liter turbocharged engine, when it's paired to the 8-speed automatic, it actually is a perfect pairing. It's like peanut butter and jelly. So something else to think about when you're looking at these new 4Runners. I'm gonna go ahead and slow down. I have it in sport mode. We're gonna go on throttle. You ready? On throttle, here we go. Little bit of turbo lag, but once you are up and running, she is quite peppy. And like I said, with the 8-speed automatic, you have fast shifts, they're crisp, they're smooth, and going down the road, this drives a lot better than the previous generation. With the TRD Off-Road, remember, we have the Bilstein dampers with the remote reservoirs. We do have those 33-inch tires, and they are wrapped with 33-inch tires, and they are off-road spec, of course. So you are going to get a little bit more road noise, a little bit more sort of just noise entering the cabin, but overall very rock solid, which is great. Steering feels good, not a bunch of body roll. On throttle, here we go. You don't have a bunch of sound being pumped in through the speakers, which is nice. I mean, it's a 4-cylinder turbo, and it sounds like a 4-cylinder turbo, and that's a-okay. That's not a big deal, I don't think. But I know a lot of people that had V6 previous generation 4Runners are very upset about the engine choices on this new 4Runner. But getting to the 8-inch infotainment system, well within reach. The ride quality is great. I love the way it's very composed. It's not swaying all over the place, which sometimes can happen with off-road spec vehicles. Good visibility out the front, good visibility out the back. You got your Toyota Sensing 3.0. But the handling is really gonna surprise you on how well this 4Runner handles, especially with less weight off the front end. The 4-cylinder turbo definitely weighs less than the V6, so you're gonna have less weight off the front of the vehicle, which is really nice. The seats are cloth, they are manual control, but once you have them set up, They feel great, especially that lower lumbar. And I really like the length of the lower seat cushion. But overall, the cabin is pretty quiet for this type of vehicle. But I do like the way they drive. They drive really well. Storage is well placed. All the connectivity. And you have that real deal off-road tech. The hill descent control, the crawl control. This isn't an off-road pretender. It's an off-road contender. See what I did there? But I hope that this has been a good, quick overall review of this 4Runner TRD Off-Road. We're gonna get back to where it all started and wrap this one up. So I will see you in a split second. All right, guys, another great day, hot day, but another great day here at Clearwater Toyota. Definitely got to thank Chris and the rest of the crew for getting us access to this 2025 TRD Off-Road version of the new 4Runner. Is it the must-have midsize two-row with a steel box frame? Let me know in that comment section. But if you're new to the channel, you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber and you're being part of the Raised Rise family, got to give it up to Stephen Flood. He's wooing the ladies. He's growing his muscles, and he's living life. So thank you, Stephen, for all that you do. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.